Thank you to all my lovely supporters on Patreon. To hear all the music I make for my channel and covers I do, go to the link in the description to sign up for my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Christian Hanna here. Today, guys, we're going to be talking about 2001's 13 Ghosts. Now, this is the new Scream Factory Blu-ray. We're going to talk about this movie, and we'll talk a little bit about this release. And I would be remiss not to tell you this quick story. Around 2001, I was 11 or 12 years old. I was a kid. And we would go to Blockbuster often, once a week. It was as normal as peanut butter and jelly on sandwiches back then because there was no Netflix. There was nothing. You had to go to Blockbuster to get your movies. And I can vividly remember always seeing the box art right when this movie came out for 13 Ghosts and always grabbing it. My mom would be like, no, we're not getting that. We're not getting that. We're not getting that. And we would rent Terminator 2 6 times in a row, or we would rent Rocky 3, and I would be like, I need to see this movie, because I would always be so attracted to its box art and the imagery on the back. I vividly remember the image of the princess girl who is a ghost in the movie, and she's topless, but she's all scarred up, and she had black eyes, and she was so hauntingly inviting looking. As a kid, it always just drew me to the image of her, and I would always go to Blockbuster, grab the VHS. Finally, my parents rented it to their dismay because I bugged them enough, and we watched 13 Ghosts. Now, back in 2002, when I saw that movie, or late 2001, one of those years, I lost sleep for days. The movie absolutely terrified me because it was so scary, all the ghosts, the glass house that they were in. It was so claustrophobic. It was so petrifying. And the movie haunted me for days, weeks even. So then come all these years later, when Scream Factory comes around and they're starting to do movies like Urban Legend, they're starting to do movies like Valentine. In the back of my mind, I was like, boy, it would be cool if they did 13 Ghosts, but I don't know if they'd ever do it. Well, they did it. So when I told my wife about this, she had the same story. She grew up watching this film and she loved it. So I knew that this was going to be a pre-order for me because we knew we were going to be so excited to rewatch this movie. And I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit nervous about watching this film because my memories are extremely high about 13 Ghosts. So I was wondering, do I even dare tarnish the memory of what I had with this film and rewatch it and maybe not enjoy it as much? Because that's happened. Sometimes those memories are better left where they were back in the day because the thought of it is so pure and high. Luckily, that was not the case on rewatching 13 Ghosts all these years later. 13 Ghosts, in a quick little synopsis, basically tells the story of this widowed dad with his kids, and his brother leaves him this house. And this house is amazing. And it's this huge glass, crazy, cathedral-looking masterpiece. It's incredible. Visually, it's insane. But you find out that this house that he's been left has tortured souls trapped in the bottom of the house. And the character from Matthew Lillard, who is absolutely amazing in this film, my absolutely favorite performance I've ever seen Matthew Lillard do, is in 13 Ghosts. Over Scream, yes. He is trying to help the family to say, you need to get out of here. This is not what you think. And I'll leave it at that story-wise because it seems so very classic horror. This is this haunted house, almost monster ride. It is absolutely visually breathtaking of a film. I had such a great time revisiting this. Now, I'm not sure. Somebody let me know. If memory serves, 13 Ghosts was originally a movie years ago, and I think this is a remake. If not a remake, it's got the same title. But this movie, what was so great about it was the visual aspect of it. This glass house that the majority of the film takes place in is truly visually breathtaking. It looks so incredible. And the ghosts are all over the top amazing. When I put this movie on, I was so excited, and I instantly dropped my shoulders and relaxed because I knew I was going to be in for a treat again, just like I remembered it when I saw the names Kurtzman, Nicotero, and Berger, which means K and B if memory serves. So I knew that the visual aspect of the ghosts were going to deliver, and they absolutely did. Some of the visual ghosts that absolutely destroyed my childhood, like the Hammer Ghost, which is this big, strong guy with nails all through his body. And you could see him through the glass. Absolutely terrified me as a kid, and still delivered till this day. It was so beautiful, this film. There's a claustrophobia to this glass house that they're in. And it's covered in these Latin rhymes and charms because the ghosts have a set of rules that they have to live by. They are unable to transfer through if these charms and rhymes are on the walls. So they have to wear these glasses to see the ghosts. And it was like a virtual haunted house in the movie. So amazingly entertaining 13 Ghosts was. I can easily see myself popping this movie on tomorrow and still being just as absolutely breathtaking by the film. It was so incredibly enjoyable, and the memory is just as good as it was when I was a kid. There's some haunting imagery. As I told you before, that there's the tortured princess ghost, and she is completely cut up throughout her whole body. And there's a scene where the daughter goes into this bathroom before she realizes the terror of this house. And she goes to run the water, and we, the audience, see her ghost in the tub filled to the brim with blood and those black eyes. And it is absolutely just terrifying. Visually, I was like, oh my god. K&B did an amazing job on this film. I believe that's K&B, Nicotero, Berger. I think that's them. But those are the names of the guys who we all know as horror fans. They delivered. And it's such a shame that, you know, it seems like those guys were just getting started visually when you look at a movie like this, and then CGI starts to take over. Now, I know they kept working and they did stuff, but it certainly wasn't the heyday like it was. But 13 Ghosts absolutely delivered on an entertainment value, the claustrophobia of being in these glass corridors and having moments where you can see the ghost behind the glass, where they can escape, but they can't feel comfort because they can still see the ghost because it's all glass. Really awesome. I just thought this film looked amazing, was a thrill ride, was a virtual haunted house. Matthew Lillard delivered. He's at the height of his career, it seems like, right here. And his performance is so good. Everybody in the film did a good job. They kind of try to recreate like this medieval tale of gathering these souls for the uncle who was behind all this to basically rule the world in a sense. But the real charm of this movie is the visuals and the ghosts, and they're freaky looking. Some of them had this real Evil Dead look naturally because of who was involved in it, and really haunted me. The memory of the fear I had as a kid came right back, and I was so happy revisiting this movie. It was really awesome, and this is definitely one of my favorite post-Scream horror movies, because after this we started getting The Rings and The Grudges, and horror seemed like it was going to shift a little bit, but this has that temperament with the characters of the post-Scream era. Kind of reminds me of the themes and the style of the House on Haunted Hill remake, which I also love. So if you definitely love that movie, I think this would definitely be something you would enjoy too. So 13 Ghosts gets a 9.9 out of 10 for me. It absolutely delivered, and it felt just as good as it did back then, and I'm so happy about that. Now, as far as the Scream Factory Blu-ray, the picture quality is good on it. It doesn't look amazing like this really just amazing transfer. It's full 1080p. It looks as good as it needs to look. It looks good. It's certainly an improvement over the DVD, which I just checked both copies. A vast improvement. Now, the special features, they have some interviews with some of the people that were the ghosts in this movie, which was nice. No Matthew Lillard interview, which was unfortunate, but he's somewhat of a big deal still, so I can understand how they just can't afford to get him anymore, because they don't really seem like they put a ton of money into the special features on these. But the ghosts were great, the interviews were great, the audio commentaries were great. I scoured this entire Blu-ray top to bottom, and I highly recommend this Blu-ray. I've talked about a lot of some of the post-Scream horror movies. I've done Idle Hands, I did Urban Legend, I talked about Valentine, I talked about other ones. This is my highest recommend for you. If you want to check out one of the post-Scream style horror movies, I highly recommend this movie over Idle Hands, over Urban Legend. This movie is so visually entertaining, and I love it. So 13 Ghosts gets definite 2 thumbs up for me, and I'm just so happy that I felt it delivered just as much today as it did all those years back. So 13 Ghosts. Definitely check it out, guys. I'm just thrilled to have this in the collection now, and I will definitely be revisiting it on a routine basis. This is Christian Hanna Horror. Love you guys. Let me know what your thoughts are on this movie if you've seen it. If you've not, let me know if this video entices you to pick up this copy or to check the movie out in general. Love you guys. See you next time.